Okay, our next example comes from section 2.1. The section is called Radical Functions and Transformations, and the question we're going to look at is, how do we get a radical function from the graph? So in this example, we're asked to determine a radical function from a graph. They've given us kind of a general format for this: y equals a times the square root of b bracket x minus h plus k, and our job is to determine a, b, h, and k if there is a value for each of those. So I need to look at this graph and kind of decide what's happened to my original y equals root x. You may want to, even if it's real small, sketch yourself a regular y equals square root of x function somewhere on your page, or maybe even put it on your calculator. And some important points. Obviously 0, 0, where that graph kind of starts from. It goes through 1, 1, maybe you graph 4, 2, or 9, 3, depends how big you want to draw it. So definitely a couple things look like they've happened to this graph. It looks like it's been reflected about the x-axis. So definitely a reflection about the x-axis, as it looks like it's upside down. And it does look like it's been stretched. Just the fact that the original goes 1, 1, over 1 and up 1, and this one goes over 1 and down 2. And so if you look at that carefully, you can describe the stretch in a couple different ways, but I think the simplest way, given what they've labeled here, is a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So I've written that in there, vertical stretch by a factor of 2 about the x-axis. Once you decide on your reflections and then your stretches, you would look to see if there was any translation. But the fact that this thing still is passing through 0, 0 makes me think there hasn't been any moving left or right. So my job is now just to figure out what the equation is going to be. Well, if I want to have a reflection about the x-axis, I need a negative out front. If I want a vertical stretch by a factor of 2 about the x-axis, I need a 2 out front, and I have square root of x. If you're ever not sure if you've found the right equation, you can put into your calculator and just see if it actually passes through these points. Look in the table or look at the graphing screen itself and trace around and see if you're actually going through the points that they give you in the question.